This is part 2 of my adventure across Morocco. So I'm currently in Medina. Let's go and explore the Medina. Now, this Medina is a lot less touristy compared to Fez and Marrakesh Medinas. And to be honest, I actually like it less touristy, as it feels more authentic. There's large areas of the Medina where it's just alleyways with not much going on, which was interesting to see. And some of the passages in the Medina get very narrow. And some of the passages in the Medina get very dark. As you head towards the centre of Medina, this is where you get into the busy market areas. Markets selling loads and loads of different things. And in this Medina, there's a lot of shops selling clothes. The clothes being sold are a mixture of new cheap clothes from places like Bangladesh, and also second-hand reconditioned clothes, where they've brought in cheap clothes that people are throwing away from mainland Europe, and they've reconditioned them. And I'd be really interested to know what they do to these clothes to make them so new looking. And they've done it so well to a point where it's actually hard to tell the difference between what's second hand and what's new. But one thing that does give it away is the labels, as even though somehow I've managed to make the clothes look shiny and new, the labels though look old, faded and tatty. So that's how you tell apart what's second hand. So, I now go outside of the Medina and along to the regular markets. Now, this is the more regular sort of Moroccan market. Now, if you were to buy anything from this market, there's a lot of haggling, and it'd be very hard to get a cheap deal considering I don't look local. The culture of this country, similar to Egypt, is to try and sell you stuff for the highest price possible, and if they think you've got money, they'll bump up the price. Even though I don't have much money, I'm doing this trip on a very tight budget, but nevertheless, the people here will stereotype me as having money, because that's the sort of opinions they have of Europeans. And along to the central square, where there is an ostrich. And that's as close as I managed to get to this ostrich, because I did edge a bit closer to get another picture, but that's when the owner noticed me and then suddenly tried to demand money off me, so I walked away. And along to the food market, and I did not want to buy any food here because the hygiene is pretty disgusting. Take a look at this section. Now you might have to look at it a couple of times before you fully realise quite how many flies there are. So you see your flies flying about, but look again closely. See all those black specks across the food? Those are flies just sitting there on the food. There's hundreds of flies on the food. All of the food is covered in flies. That is just disgusting. And one part of the food market that looked nice is the olive section. But what put me off eating these is people just walk along and stick their hands in the olives. I don't get why that's allowed over here, but people just stick their hands in either to taste test it, or often some people just like to feel the olives as they walk past. So if you eat olives from here, you're most likely going to eat an olive that other people have already touched. And along to this section, which looks like a boot fair. This is the section of the markets where just ordinary people come along to just sell off the stuff from their house. So this stuff's second hand, third hand, or maybe even fourth hand. How's that going to get through there? How's that going to get through? It's too busy. And this section of the market gets very busy, with pedestrians and cars all fighting to get through this section. This car driver was literally driving into pedestrians very slowly just to force them out the way. And now I go to the bird market. Now, this is something you do not see in England. There are a lot of birds here, from chickens to quails to pigeons to turkeys. These birds are not pets. And maybe apart from the quails or the egg-laying chickens. Those ones, maybe you could count those as a pet because they lay eggs, but most of the birds here are not for eggs. They are for meat. And this is the part where the cultural difference might be a bit shocking for people who are not used to this. This is the choose your chicken meat market. If you want to buy some chicken meat, you choose the chicken whose meat you want. The stall owner then takes the chicken and slaughters it right in front of you, prepares the meat and gives you the meat. Well, I guess the meat's very fresh, but this is just a bit too morbid for me, so I didn't buy any chicken here. I'd be like, I'm now eating the meat from the bird I was just looking at a second ago and chosen to be killed. Oh, this is just getting weird. And in the chicken pens, there are cats. Now, you would think a cat might attack a chicken, but no, why would the cat do that? When the cats get fed through a much easier option, they instead just sit there watching the stall owner slaughter the chickens, and the stall owner throws off bits of chicken to the cats. So what this means is the chickens in this pen are watching the cats eating bits of fellow chicken which has just been slaughtered, while the chickens are waiting there to be slaughtered themselves. And as for the other parts of this bird market, such as the pigeons and quails, these get eaten as well. And I find it really weird that people actually eat town pigeon here. This is not wood pigeon. Wood pigeon is eaten in the UK, but in the UK, we do not eat town pigeon. Then you got an egret, but this bird is not being eaten. This bird is sitting around looking for bits of food. Then you got cockerels. And then you got turkeys. And along to a lift, which I would have said isn't working, but actually there's not even a lift there. That's fucked. That's fucked, there's no lift in there. People just opened the door and filled it up with rubbish. And now along to an orange tree, because in the European quarter of Meknes, where the streets are much wider than in Medina, there are orange trees. So let's taste test an orange. So, taste test time. The one I tried in Antalya in Turkey tasted disgusting, tastes of pollution from a similar tree. And it's also quite polluted here, to be honest. So I've got much hopes for this, so let's try it. It tastes better than Antalya. I'm not quite sure that's the perfect taste, but it's alright. Talking of pollution, So then, now I go along to Meknes Central Station. Not the best place to stand. And now get on a train and go 30 miles east, along to the city of Fez. Door, that's different. They're different doors, but still the door's open. So, what do you notice about this rail map? All of Morocco. Yeah, they count Western Sahara as part of Morocco on this. Best not speak too loudly because that's a very politically sensitive issue. So the red is the railway and green is the extended bus network. So Agadir doesn't even have a train. Shows you how limited the railways are here. But that little section at the top there is high speed 300 km an hour. Wow. Imagine he loses control of those that is run on the tracks. That's crazy. I don't think he's meant to walk sheep along a train track. It's inside perimeter fence. Wow, that's an old looking crane. It's middle of nowhere here. Substation over there. Anyone else walking a sheep down the tracks? I don't know. Maybe. That's the plate released. Here we go. Oh, this station also has a crane. It's identical to the last one actually. Not quite, it's no substation. Oh, that bit is a bit closed. Gotta be careful. On the other side, I think. That's a heavier door compared to the other one. So then, here I am at Fez Station. Now, Fez is famous for being the Moroccan city with the largest Medina. And the Medina here is massive. Although it is a lot more touristy, very much aimed at Western tourists coming over and buying stuff. Full of traditional sort of things that you'd expect to see in Africa, Westerners would buy, which I don't think is really that authentic to what the locals would buy anymore in the modern day. Anyway, this adventure continues in my next video.